We are now in Module 5 of the ITIL 4 Service Desk Practice Certification Training. Module 5 is related to the partners and suppliers dimension of the service desk practice. The exam syllabus for this module is to understand the role of partners and suppliers in the practice, which means explain the dependencies of the practice on third parties and explain how the partners and suppliers can support this practice. So by the end of this module, you will be able to explain the role of third parties in the service desk practice and understand the opportunities offered by involving the third parties in the service desk practice. Here, it's about the third parties performing the service desk activities. This is one of the ways in which third parties can support the practice. So very few services are delivered using only an organization's own resources. Mostly, it depends on other services often provided by third parties outside the organization. And relationships and dependencies introduced by supporting services are described in the ITIL practice guides for supplier management and service level management. The partners and suppliers may support the development, management, and execution of the service desk practice. The forms of support from the supplier can include the following. One, performing the service desk activities as listed on this slide. We will also take a look at a couple of other slides which describe the second one, which is the provision of the software tools by the supplier or the third parties. And third, the advisory and consulting provided by the third parties or suppliers and partners. So here we take a look at the first way in which the third parties support the service desk practice, and they can do it by performing the service desk activities itself. So service desk teams are often considered as a first step for the service provider to establish. Together with high workload and sometimes high level of stress, this leads to a high turnover rate of the employees in many service desk teams. And this in terms affects the fast onboarding of new service desk agents and documentation and formalized procedures and also get impacted. And because of this, the outsourcing of the service desk has begun to occur or has happened. And many organizations, therefore, experiment with third-party resources working in the service desk teams. And the applicability and success of this approach depends on many factors. It depends on the type of the service relationship between the service provider and the service consumers. This decision also depends on the level of customization of the IT services, the formalization of the service value streams and touch points, the importance of the user experience and the satisfaction, the level of automation of the service desk activities, the sensitivity of the information exchange between the users and the service provider. So these are the factors which can influence the approach taken to outsource to third parties and the success that is achievable from that approach. Then we have the second way in which third parties can support the service desk practice, and that is through the provisioning of software tools. And the third one is the consulting advisory support from the third parties. So most software tools used for the service desk are shared with other practices. Problem management is one of the first management practice to be automated, along with incident management and service request management. This means the automation requirements related to service desk are usually taken into account when the organization chooses a service management automation system. But it is important to ensure that the tools used ensure effective integration of practices into the service value streams and effective capturing and use of the knowledge across the service provider. The development of the service desk often involves specialized suppliers who have developed expertise in the service desk and can help to establish the practice and to build the team and to implement an information system. This is often the first step in developing a service value system, and there are many ITSM consulting and automation specialists who are ready to offer their help. So just to conclude, the three ways in which third party can support this practice: one, by performing the service desk activities; two, by providing the software tools; and third, by providing advisory and consulting services. So let's quickly summarize our learnings. The service desk always, or in most cases, depends on the third parties. The partners and suppliers participate in the service desk activities or provide personnel. They can also provide software tools and integration of the tools. and provide the ITSM consulting and advisory services. It is now time for a quiz with a couple of questions coming up. Question 1. What factor influences the decision to outsource the service desk? A. The role of the service desk manager. B. The number of user touch points. C. The level of automation of the service desk activities. Or D. The experience and satisfaction of the service desk agents. For this, you would have to recollect or remember the factors that influence the decision to outsource the service desk to third parties. Option A and D should be eliminated easily because the role of the service desk manager should be designed to suit the organization and should not influence the decision to outsource the service desk. Option D, the experience and satisfaction of the users is important and not that of the service desk agents for the outsourcing decision. Option B, the number of touch points, is also incorrect. But it is the quality and the formalization of the touch points, not the touch points or the number of touch points themselves. So the answer here would be option C, the level of automation of the service desk activities. And there are many other factors as well. Question number 2, how can partners and suppliers support the service desk practice? A, by reducing the need to customize the IT services. B, by advising on how to build the team and implement an information system. C, by providing problem management tools. Or D, by outsourcing the development of IT services. You should recollect that they can support the service desk practice in 3 possible ways. And one of them is listed here, and you need to identify that one. So let's try to eliminate the incorrect ones. Option A would be incorrect. Utilizing partners and suppliers does not affect the level of customization of IT services. Similarly, by option B, by advising on how to build the team and implement an information system. Now, this is something to be cautious about. This is possibly a correct answer because specialized suppliers who have developed expertise in service desk can help to establish and develop the practice to build the team, implement an information system as well. This is also usually the first step in developing a service value system. And there are many ITSM consulting and automation specialists who offer their help in this area. So B would be correct. Let's take a look at C and D. By providing problem management tools, though this relates to providing the software tools, but please remember it is indicating the problem management tool, not the service desk related tools. Therefore, we need to eliminate that. And option D, by outsourcing the development of IT services, this is also incorrect. Because the service desk must still support the services regardless of who develops them. And it is more about the development of the IT services rather than what the third parties can support for the service desk practice. Therefore, option B would be the correct answer. And that brings us to the end of this module 5 on the partners and suppliers dimension in the service desk practice. And in the next module 6, we will take a look at the service desk capability development. Thank you.